Blah.
Oh, you can do better than that.
Welcome to the Lookout Tower and the Fortress of Dorkness. I'm your host, Christian Villarreal.
And I'm writer-director New Omar.
This week we're going to take a look at the trailer for Dune, which came out yesterday.
Spoilers, as always, even though I don't think there's much to spoil.
Yeah, fair warning. I have not seen the original film, and I have not even looked at the book in a decade, at least.
I have not seen the film in at least 15 years, and I have not read. I've only read the first book, and I have not. It's been about the same 15 years since then, so half my life, even though I fully intended on. So let's get into it. What is the plot of Dune?
Well, it is a very complicated plot, but to boil it down to its most simplistic nature, it is about a desert planet that is controlled by one house of several houses. The planet itself contains a spice on it that is used for a couple of different things that ensure like society continues both mentally and physically and whatnot. And the need for it brings the galaxy to the brink of war.
And somewhere in there, there's also a prophecy about a chosen one whose family the Emperor plots to have his family killed, along with the person who currently controls the planet that has the spice, which is, they've nicknamed the planet Dune, and that's where Dune comes from.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a long, complicated history. There's 6 books by Frank Herbert, and it spans about something like 35,000 years, and it would have been more if Herbert didn't die, because we're not that in depth with the Dune lore. What was your reaction to the trailer?
My reaction to the trailer was that just like the original of the stuff that I've seen of it, it looks like, it's going to be a technical marvel of today, especially with the sandworms. And honestly, with an all-star cast, it looks like Denis is, at the peak of his game right now.
I will agree. Like, I think Dune is very much a sci-fi fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's done a good job of capturing that. From what I remember about the original film, it was also, with Sting and all that in it. You've got what you would imagine a desert world to look like.
Mm-hmm.
There's not much more you could do with it, but I feel like from the trailer, he's given it sort of that Stargate-ish vibe, except he's given it that touch. That's Denis Villeneuve that we're talking about here. He's given it that touch that he has, like you were talking about the frames earlier, if you want to go into that.
Oh, yeah. Well, one of the things that I noticed in many of the frames is that they're very empty, or at the very least, they're pulled back or very open. They're shots, with people at the bottom of the screen, and then everything is just black behind them, or the extremely wide shots of simply 2 tiny little figures and then the giant worm. It's a very empty framing for the whole film, and I think that that's going to be very, very helpful to establish like the sparseness of this planet and the desertiness of this planet.
Yeah, I think it also works to establish, like, even though the spice is very important in this world, it also establishes that, like, there's more to this universe. The characters are a small part of a bigger world.
So let's quickly move into the cast. As I mentioned, the all-star cast of this film. Let's go ahead and talk about them for a little bit.
No, there's only one person we need to talk about, Jason Momoa. That's it. End of story. Let's move on.
As swordmaster and mentor to Paul.
Yeah. No, really good cast. For 2020, it's a phenomenal all-star cast. You got Josh Brolin in there, the aforementioned Jason Momoa, Rebecca Ferguson,
Oscar Isaac. Even Stellan Skarsgård is in there, and Dave Bautista,
yes.
as well as Zendaya.
So really good cast there. And then the lead, what's his name?
Timothy Chalamet.
Somebody did describe to me after watching the trailer. They said that his accent sounds like Christian Bale's American accent.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was funny. What are your hopes for the film? Like, when you go in to see it, what are you expecting out of it?
For starters, I expect that he will actually get his vision properly realized, because that's something that plagued the original film. Too big, too much, too this, too that, and it got cut down quite a bit to what we have now. I don't know. I don't remember the history of that film, if the footage was lost or if it's just, buried somewhere of the stuff that didn't make it into the final film.
Well, if audiences pay attention to this channel soon, they might learn some of that history. Just watch our channel.
This thing right here. But yes, I do hope that, I mean, he proved with Blade Runner 2049 that he has the capability of, telling a story that he wants to tell, and it makes total sense and is completely engaging. And so I think Warner Brothers recognized that and is letting him basically have his way with this Dune story, which is why he got an absolute stellar cast, and the shots look as beautiful as they do. And it's also just a hotly anticipated film all around.
Yeah, yeah. I know it's one of from the upcoming films. Given how erratic the release schedule has become, I know that it's one that I had been excited for a long time. I mean, hey, if they manage to cover all the books, even though I haven't read 2 through 6 or any of the attempts to do 7 onwards by other authors. I'm excited about the worm emperor, the human worm hybrid emperor, which is a thing. Who is if I recall from what I have known over the years, somebody in the comments can correct me. It's like he's a tyrant, but he's also setting stuff up for the good of people, because that's the whole like theme of these stories is manipulation of control using politics and religion and religious figures. I want to know if they will do the human worm hybrid guy. Oh, and the sandworm looks cool. I like it. I like it a lot. So
Yes, I do too. I do think if there's one thing that I found weird about the trailer is that they kind of showed the worm eating the building before they revealed it,
yeah,
which I was like, okay.
like I knew that that would be how the trailer ends with the big like, oh my god, they're going to show the worm bursting out of the sand,
Hmm.
which that wasn't as epic as I would have in my imagination of it just coming out of the
Hmm.
sand. But yeah, the shot of them like looking at it eating the building, I was just like, aren't they? I was like, oh, so they're not saving it for like the finale of this trailer, and then it happens, but it's like, but you've had the worm
Earlier.
earlier, Fortress of Dorkness logo over here. You would know this better than me. When is it currently scheduled to come
I
out?
believe it's December 18th.
Okay, so it's September right now. We don't know whether it's going to get pushed. I don't think it's going to be a VOD film. I don't think it's going to be a direct to VOD.
No, it's Warner Brothers. They're gonna be the company that fronts the theatrical
Yeah,
experience because they push for Tenet, and as we talked about before
yeah,
this, the trailer actually debuted in the theater a week prior to going online
yeah.
because they wanted people to go see Tenet. I can see them doing that. However, on the flip side of this, and
Mhm,
this may or may not make it
mhm.
into the video, we'll see. Both Disney and Warner Brothers, because of the returns on Tenet, are considering pushing Wonder Woman and Black Widow again.
Okay. Hmm.
So I don't know. A lot of
Okay.
people are hoping that if they have to push Wonder Woman, that it doesn't take Dune's place, because then Dune has to come
Mhm.
into 2021. But who knows?
Well, honestly, not dismissing, the DCEU or their films. I would rather be able to see Dune in theaters than Wonder Woman, personally.
Oh, I agree. I think Dune
Yeah,
is long overdue for a movie of this magnitude, and I would
yeah.
love to see
So
it on the
I
big
think
screen.
we've kind of, yeah, I think we kind of just answered our question for the end of these, which is
Oh yes, is it
theatrical VOD or
not at all?
not at all. So it's theatrical for both of
Yes.
us. Yeah, I think this is just one of those films that like you look at it and it's like it's kind of a must see in theaters to get the full scale of it.
Hmm.
So
If that worm's size is any indicator, yes, it'll be something spectacular to see on the big screen.
our biggest fan might be scared, but I'll be there holding his hand.
And Denis, you must deliver.
You must deliver. We said your name. It has been uttered.
So let it be written.
Okay, I think
So let it be
so.
done.
Let it be written. Let it be done.
But yes,
Who are you, Yul Brynner?
of course. Well, that'll do it for this, as you mentioned earlier. So thank you for
Yep.
watching the Lookout Tower on the Fortress of Dorkness. I'm Christian Villarreal,
I'm Omar.
and we'll see you next time. Sayonara.
Oh, I already did the salute. Bye.
That's okay.